Hello and welcome back to another episode of the What Was That podcast. I'm Jazzy.
And I'm Addi.
We both had...
I went like this. Okay, we have to do that again because
I did that after on this last episode when you were trigger warning animal death because I forgot what we were doing. So you see me go...
I thought you pointed that out too.
I did. Yeah. And I was I saw it and I was like, oh, Jasmine. I used it though.
Yeah, I used it. I still used it.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the What Was That podcast. I'm Jazzy.
And I'm Addi.
We both had interesting childhoods, to say the least.
Yeah, that's the least you could say about it.
I noticed a lot of other Redditors had some interesting childhood experiences.
Did you hear that?
The wind?
Oh, I thought it was an airplane, but I thought it was really close.
No, it's so windy out right now.
I know, and I was like, what's going on? Is there a plane about to crash?
Donnie Darko'd right now.
Yeah, right. Please, I'm about to get engaged, please.
I have cats.
I have cats and dogs.
I noticed a lot of other Redditors have had some interesting childhood experiences as well, but some of them are not so easily explained.
Are we talking paranormal?
Possibly.
Creeps?
Definitely.
Are you kidding me? I hate creeps.
Kidding. I see what you did there and I like it. Very clever girly pop. Just like us.
Wow.
Story 1. Story 1. The last time I ever play hide and seek. It was when I was a child living in the southwestern United States. It was dark out. I'd have to guess around or past 9, and for whatever reason, I was playing hide and seek with a few of the kids that lived in the same set of apartments as me. It wasn't a multi-story complex, as you might imagine, but a number of single-level buildings, each containing 2 apartments, all of them roughly forming shapes of 2 square brackets facing each other and divided by a road. This, if you will. I was
like, what is that? What is that supposed to be? Bracket, line, bracket.
Bracket, line, bracket. It was fairly open, but it was because of that I chose to hide in one of the most obscure areas. I decided to hide in the top right region of the bracket, along the side of the building there. I was actually laying on my side, flat against a wall, trying to fit within the shadow cast by a ledge of that particular building. Feet forward towards the building's backside at the very top of the bracket. Are we imagining this? I don't recall how long I was hiding there before he appeared without any warning. He slowly walked out from behind the building, turning to face my direction, and stood there with his arms slightly out from his sides, breathing heavily. He had somewhat wild hair that stopped just above his shoulders, but I couldn't make out anything on his face. In fact, I remember the general scene pretty clearly, but his face is just a black spot for me. I stayed the stillest I probably ever managed to be in my life, hoping he didn't notice me, even though I'm pretty sure he did. After 5 to 10 seconds, he went back the way he came, disappearing behind the building. I think I waited a few seconds before getting up and hauling my ass out of there to my own place. Hide and seek game be damned. In spite of how bothersome that event could or should have been in my mind, it didn't really stick with me, and I didn't think about it for a long time until I found this subreddit. It didn't occur to me to think that he could have potentially done something to or with me until I told the friend a story last night, and he said something like, "Dude, you're lucky to be here now." I don't know who he was, what he was doing, or what he was considering doing, but I do suppose I consider myself pretty lucky now. The black spot face is weird.
Yeah, I'm going back to read it again because I have to process.
Yeah. There's one comment that I pinned where someone asked, is there a chance he was just out for a walk or looking for something? OP responds, I don't think he was out for a walk just because of the time and the location. The area behind the building wasn't really open, but rather fenced from 2 sides. There's nothing back there except what I assume was a maintenance shed for the apartments, and it's not really a place people would go or take a shortcut through. It's entirely possible he was bothered by something and he just needed some air, or maybe he was just screwing with me. I really don't know what he was doing back there.
Yeah. I think the problem is that you never really know. And that's what is the scariest, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the world that we live in right now, it especially as women, you walk down the street and you're like, okay, is that guy just walking with his jacket and with his hood up, looking suspicious because it's cold and he's trying to bundle up? Mm-hmm. Or is he about to come up behind me and grab me?
Right.
So, and then your mind gets stuck in that loop, and then he walks past you, and then you're like, I feel stupid for even thinking that somebody could do that, but then you realize it's not. And that's the terrifying part.
Right.
Is that you even have to think about it.
And it's just like, especially with this, not knowing why he was there or anything like that, that just gives your brain liberty to just roam into every possibility, and you're never going to know the answer.
Yeah. Especially, I feel like as a kid, too, just remembering it as a black spot, maybe that's a, like, brain trying to shut out a memory of some sort. Mm-hmm. I do imagine this guy walking out and hitting the T-pose. Just arms straight out, Fortniting it. Like, he's... You know what the T-pose is?
Yeah, where they're like...
Yeah. It's a little game... Not gamer boys. What are they called?
The little square man.
No, the people that play, like, Fortnite and Roblox and stuff. I don't...
The youths.
The youths.
Youths.
Yeah, sure. But that's what I imagine is this man just, like, walking out. He just finished a gaming session. Well, this is probably way before. Well, no, video games have been out forever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's just
playing Snake for hours.
He's just walked out. He needed a fresh break. He's like, man, it stinks in my apartment. I've been living on Mountain Dew Code Red and Chex Mix for the last 10 hours. I need to go outside and touch some grass. Mm-hmm. Or maybe he's going outside to smoke something in the back shed. Maybe he can't in his apartment.
Yep. And then he's like, oh, shit, a kid. Maybe he already smoked a little bit of something. And then, like, went out there, and then he just sees something in the shadow, and he's like,
am I seeing this right now?
I wonder if you are also his let's not meet.
Oh, my God, that would be so funny. He's like, one time I came out of my house, and there was a child hiding, and they just stared at me.
Yeah, all I saw was, like, legs and then shadow.
Then he ran away. I don't know if he was a ghost or like Children of the Corn or what. And as an adult, you don't think that it's a kid playing hide and seek. No, if I walked outside my apartment building or my townhouse and I saw a kid hiding, I would be like, yeah. No, I'd immediately be like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like, this is the Black-Eyed Children. This is my time.
Why are you here?
Yeah.
What is that movie that's, like, about to come out? I don't remember what it's called. I saw a trailer for it the other day where it has, like, a woman who, like, sits outside your house and then she, like, slowly gets closer.
I don't know, but I don't like that. There's a short... Yeah. There's been tons of shorts and stuff, but there is one short. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a 5-minute short movie, and there's like a guy, or there's a box, and there's a couple.
I think it's called The Box.
I think it's called The Box.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Have you watched it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's
creepy.
Oh, I hated that movie.
Not that. Short. Other Side of the Box is what it's called.
Gotcha.
Yeah, with his little head.
With his little head sticking out, and every time you turn around, he gets closer.
Yeah, I'm like, absolutely not. Fuck that.
It's also like the angels in Doctor Who.
I've never really watched Doctor Who.
I haven't either. I've only seen that episode. Because I've been told it's scary, so I've watched it.
Maybe I'll watch that. I've only seen I think it's the first episode where it has all the mannequins. I'm like, okay. And then I moved on with life and never circled back.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's like a couple things where it's like if you look away, they move closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Glad you're fine.
Story 2. The wind is so loud. I can hear it through the mics. We're going to have to put like a preface in here in case the filter doesn't pick it up.
Hey, it's windy.
It's super windy. You're going to hear some wind. Sorry.
We're
in my basement.
Like, I don't know. I don't control the weather.
Well, damn, Jackie, I can't control the weather.
Story 2. This is a response to a thread on Reddit. It's titled Paranormal or Not, What is the scariest, creepiest, or most unsettling experience of your life? When I was 3, my parents moved into a new neighborhood. The house was nice, but kind of old. The neighborhood was an old 50s tract home area, so it had a pretty varied group of people living there, from older couples that had bought the houses new to young families looking for a cheap place to live, to poor people looking for cheap houses to rent. As soon as we moved in, my dad started noticing weird things with me. He would hear me giggling and laughing in my room, and whenever he went in and asked what was so funny, I would tell him that the kids were being funny. He would also come in to wake me up and find me curled up in the closet. This happened over and over again, but my parents didn't think much of it because I was a pretty imaginative kid. The thing that wigged them out the most was I flat out refused to walk out the front door. I would scream and yell and cry until one of my parents carried me in and out of the house. Whoa.
That wind is winding.
When you walked in the front door, to the right, there was a closet, and to the left, there was a low brick wall that separated the front room from the living room. It was about 4 feet high and about 3 feet long, just a room divider, but I never touched it or wanted to be near it. After we had lived there a few months, my dad started making some renovations to the house. Among them was demolishing the wall. My parents dropped my brother and I off with our grandparents the day they were going to do it so we wouldn't be underfoot. We didn't end up going home for a week. When my dad knocked down the wall, he called the police. Inside the brick wall were bones that turned out to be from children. The cops never did figure out who put them there. The house had been owned by a lot of people, many of them who had rented it out. So it's just one of the many weird things that happened in my town that was never figured out.
Isn't that spooky?
That's creepy. That's like the plot of a movie.
It is, yeah, because, like, especially to be that young, you are susceptible to seeing things.
Yeah.
Kids
100% see ghosts. 1000% see ghosts. I think all imaginary friends are ghosts.
I would buy that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never had an imaginary friend.
I didn't either.
So
I
might
made
not
some
have
up because I was like, I want one.
Yeah, right.
But-
I had like, I guess my imaginary friends would be like my stuffed animals and stuff. I would talk to them.
Yeah.
One time I made a doll because I had a ton of Barbies and Polly Pockets and stuff.
Hell yeah.
But I, for some reason, wanted something different. So I went out and picked out a piece of bamboo from like the end of our neighborhood driveway. And then I brought it home and drew a face on it and cut some of my Barbie's hair and glued it on it. And then like put a Barbie dress on the stick and then put a Band-Aid around it so it stuck to it.
It's really cute.
And I carried it around for a long time.
That's very sporky of you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a really weird time in my life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kids do the darndest thing.
Silly little, just playing with some ghosts.
It's crazy that OP didn't want to walk by that wall either and had to be carried out. Like, they felt the energy from those kids. I wonder if the ghost, things we'll never know, I wonder if the ghost told the kid, like, hey, my bones are there.
Yeah.
If you guys are ever wondering, my bones are right there. That's why I'm stuck here.
Yeah, I don't like it over there either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they got put to rest.
Hopefully.
Yeah, those poor kids. Poor kids.
Yeah. And just like, I always used to like hide in my closet and like just like play in my closet for hours.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I wonder if for a very similar reason that's what those kids were doing, which is why they would always like have OP come play with them in the closet because I was like the safe space to hang out and play.
Oh, that's so sad to think about.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
That's just a small wall.
Very
to
little
put all
wall.
them bones in there.
Yeah.
That's kind of morbid. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we're not making this better. Anyway, story 2. Story 3.
Yeah, that's just
story 3. It's my turn to read. Okay.
Yeah. That is very sad.
Okay, did you watch The Monkey? Yeah.
No, I have not.
Okay. I need you to do that. because there's obviously, for this one, a logical explanation.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, the mystical, and if it's mystical, we'll get into it. We'll get into it, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. Story 3, The Bull's Head. In 1996, when my family lived on a farm here in Brazil, my father found a piece of wood that had the features and shape of a bull's head. There were a lot of imperfections, obviously, since it wasn't carved by someone. No eye holes, asymmetrical horns, and an exaggerated, thin chin. Overall, though, it really resembled the animal. My mother was scared when my dad came in with it, because she hated the thing. My dad hung it in the yard. My parents weren't happy with each other, so there was a lot of fighting going on at that time, like constant challenges and teasing with little things, stuff like that. Like my father taught to me and my 2 brothers, a man doesn't cry, so we would simply hide together when shit hit the fan, and we would cry together, like men. We were 3 weak boys with social issues. Also, we didn't have any friends since we lived in a very rural area, far away from anything. And the fact that we would rather die than play soccer, which is a big deal for a Brazilian, didn't help us get any affection from my father. We were always a disappointment to him. He made sure we knew that, and he still does. I don't know why my father liked that wooden head so much, but he would stare at it constantly, sometimes until late at night, while he would smoke a cigarette in the dark. He would mumble things and laugh like a drunk. I was 6 years old, and I'd never had much intimacy with him, so I didn't realize how extremely unhappy he was with his life. Years later, I think my dad, who majored in engineering and is a very creative and intelligent person, thought his life was over. You know, since the not-so-loving wife and the 3 shitty boys kind of turned life into a prison. The head was just something to look at, like people do to a horizon. Overall, though, he looked crazy to me, and I started to get afraid of him and the bull's wooden head. I remember imagining all this supernatural stuff happening with my father, like he was using the thing as a mask to kill us. For a while, therefore, I couldn't sleep. I could hear the string attached to the bull's head swing to the winds of the night, followed by the sound of inhalation made by my father's lungs with smoke. It was like the sound of hate. One night, he just had it. He entered the house, heavy breathing, throwing things at the walls, destroying stuff, yelling, cursing. He said my mother was frigid, and that it was all a mistake, and that he was still young and couldn't live like that anymore. I found out years later that my parents had sex and money issues as well. We 3 jumped out of bed and were crying in fear. My mom started to use this to make him calm down, saying he was scaring us. But because he was not calming down, she began to yell and curse as well, until it became a real fight. My mom started it. They were both red, spitting. She threw things at him. Then she ran to my father and tried to push him outside the house while also trying to punch his chest. It was noisy and confusing. At first, my dad didn't hit her, but continued to yell and dodge. Eventually, though, the fight went outside, and that's when he lost it. My father grabbed the bull's head, a massive piece of wood with sharp horns, and threw it at her. The look on his face. It didn't hit her, though. My mom's still alive today. It passed my mom's head level and broke the door's glass completely behind her. Dead silence. They looked at each other for a few seconds, and then he left on his motorcycle. They divorced over the weeks coming, and we never spoke about it again. P.S. I'm sorry if my English isn't great, although it's self-explanatory. This is my first time posting. I'm sorry for any formatting errors. And their one edit says their father still owns the bull's head. So...
That's awful.
Yeah.
That story is awful. That made me sick to my stomach. Oh, I'm so sorry.
So I think OP is right, and it is just... Honestly, your dad's a piece of shit.
Yeah, no, it's your dad just fucking losing his mind
Yeah.
because he's stuck in a rural area with a life that he despises for no fucking reason.
But yeah, I want to know why he's so obsessed with that bull's head.
Yeah.
That's a very strange thing to latch on to.
Yeah. It is like, there are a ton of movies, well, not a ton, but there are movies where, I can't think of any right now, but I know
There's like
where they
a cursed
latch,
item. And
yeah,
it's just
they
like,
latch on to something, and that becomes their main focus.
the monkey.
I've never seen it, so
Yeah.
I can't
Get on it.
I can't say it yet, but
Yeah.
Yeah, just thinking about some sort of entity that just kind of latches on, and it's like Amityville House, except it's the Amityville House is a house,
Right.
you know?
Instead of like one singular, it's like a bigger thing.
Yeah, it's just sits there and drives you crazy to the point of madness, and it's great that. I mean, it's not great by any means. It's good that the dad didn't do anything super harmful.
Yeah.
That would have taken it to horror movie level. But I'm glad that he just left and then they just got divorced.
Yeah. I think that's best case scenario.
That is
Honestly.
best case scenario.
Did not need to be married. And it's also interesting if that's kind of what their relationship is. And if we do like walk down into the realm of the paranormal, that would really be feeding off of that energy.
Yeah.
And latching onto someone that it perceives that it can.
Yeah, the weakest link.
Yeah.
Yeah, the person who's at the most vulnerable emotionally.
Yeah.
And
it makes sense that it would be him in this family.
Yeah, because he's drinking all the time, so he's constantly inebriated and constantly at a lower level of clear-headedness.
One of my friends was telling me that the people that are most preyed on are the dying and alcoholics.
That would make sense because they're both kind of desperate.
Yeah, dying, your life force is leaving you.
You're just a husk at that point. And it's like, let me get in there.
Yeah, they're just kind of waiting. And they're like,
it's like a hermit crab.
Literally, yeah, waiting for that show.
I see you over there.
Yeah, and then
drunk people because they have
especially if you're like always out of it.
Yeah. Something can come up to you and be like, hey, let me get inside of you. Whether it's paranormal or not.
Yes.
That was a bad joke. Sorry.
Cut it out. So yeah, anyway, there's that story.
That's so creepy. I hate that. I hated every minute of that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That made me really sad. Not gonna lie. That made me so sad.
I think it's with a Z. Are Brazilians more interested in bull riding or bull fighting? Holy cow. I think there's... Oh, wait. Hello? Okay, so bulls were introduced to South America by Spanish settlers. Symbolism and art. Symbolize strength, fertility, and raw power.
Ooh. That's interesting.
Very interesting. However, in post-colonial context, they can also represent Spanish conquest and the lasting impact on indigenous cultures. So yeah, I think it's like him attaching himself to those ideas of like strength and vitality, and like him being like, oh yeah, I'm young enough to go and live another life.
Yeah, I don't need you guys anymore. I'm dropping out of this shit. I'm moving on.
Yeah. I'm powerful. I'm
powerful. I'm the man. Yeah. I'm making the decisions.
I'm him powered.
I can't imagine laying in bed hearing the bull's head like string.
Oh,
going
that's
back and
like
forth.
so visual. Oh, that'd be so spooky.
When I was a kid, my mom and my sister lived in this little apartment, and there was me and my sister were on bunk beds, and there was a window like at the foot of the bunk bed, and this tree would like scratch against it. Mm-hmm. And I had seen The Ring. Where the girl climbs out of the TV. And I had also seen and read at the time in school the BFG, Big Friendly Giant.
Okay.
So there's obviously the evil giants, Bone Crusher and all of those creepy names. So I would have very frequent nightmares of giants trying to break into the house.
Oh my God.
And Samara from The Ring crawling out of my TV
God.
and trying to run wherever I could run to. So I would go to the store sometimes and they would start crawling out of the security TVs.
Yeah.
Or I, for some reason, in one of them went to Radio Disney.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Crawling out of the TVs. And like the giants are like going through and like ripping walls apart and stuff.
Wild.
So, and then I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would hear scratching on the window.
Yeah, you'd be like, they're here.
So that's what I associated every time I heard the scratching on the window, which was all the time.
Yeah.
So,
That's so spooky.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lore from my mom.
I wonder, my mom, we lived in New Mexico for a while. My mom planted these like big pokey cactuses outside of our windows so no one would break in. And my brothers were closer to his window. I think my room was like by a patio, so I didn't have one. So I wonder if he heard the scratching too, because I'm pretty sure it scratched. Ooh. I wonder if that affected his dreams. I should ask him. Hey, Brandon.
That would be really freaky.
What do you dream about,
especially
brother?
If it was like scratching, like fingernail scratching.
Yeah.
Yeah. The trees on the glass were like the like nails on a chalkboard kind of sound.
Ooh, I hate that.
Yeah.
I would hate that.
Like,
I would rather have the nail. I would rather have the scratchy as opposed to the.
Yeah. No, it was awful. It was really awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I feel like I've told you this before, but whenever my aunt lived in this really, really old house when I was a kid.
Yeah, you told me about that house.
Yeah, and the house, like, the floors were all creaky, and you could hear it at all times of the night. You'd hear creaking, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. The grudge is coming for me. The grudge is coming.
Yeah.
So.
I feel that way in some people's grandma's houses.
Yeah. I love my grandparents, but when I was a kid, the room that I would always sleep in, I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would hear like a clock ticking and it sounded so loud. Yeah.
I know that sound.
Would always think the story that we read yesterday when they were talking about not reaching the ceiling, that made me think of, I don't know why I didn't bring it up yesterday, but I would like imagine like floating up. And it was always really freaky, and it would be really disorienting because it was so dark.
Yeah.
And so, but we had like they would leave like the closet light on and crack the door, but it was always like when I would wake up, it wouldn't be on. Yeah. And that would freak me out because I'm like, where's the light? Where's the light? And then I'd wake up.
Did you watch The Curse? It has, shoot, what is his name? I just lost it. It's Emma Stone and Nathan
Fielder.
Yes.
I love Nathan Fielder, but no, I did not watch it.
Okay, I will say like pretty much everything until the last episode, I was like,
that's what I heard.
What is this even about?
I heard that it was super like not interesting, and it sucks because I love Nathan Fielder. Like Quentin and I watch Nathan For You all the time.
Yeah, I really enjoy Nathan For You. Thanks for putting me on it.
Nathan For You, and what was the other one that he did that's on Max? It starts with an E, I think. Got movies and shows.
Nathan For You. The
Rehearsal. Yep.
Okay.
That one. It's on Max. That one's really funny.
Gotcha.
It's not as funny as Nathan For You. It's a little bit, there's like some serious moments in it. Yeah. But I thought it was so funny. He's just funny. He's a funny guy.
Cute. Okay. I'm going to watch that.
He's like Tim Robinson, but in a different font.
Hold up. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why can't I remember either of their names?
I don't know.
Dear
I
God,
love them. Story 4. Wanna see my tattoos? All right, first post on here, so I'm a bit nervous. If I made any mistakes, please let me know in the comments. A little background on me. I'm a 15-year-old skinny guy. This happened several years ago. I don't remember how long, but I was around the age of 12. I was at Hobby Lobby with my mother. I believe we were picking up supplies for my home economics class. So I was getting some fabric cut by a man who seemed really nice, while my mom was looking at others she liked. That's where the creepy started happening. A rather tall and large man came up and was fairly close to me. I'm extremely nervous when it comes to strangers in public, so I tried to avoid him by scooting over along the counter. He starts to make a little small talk, and I tried to give as short and as least descriptive answers as possible. After a few minutes of this, I'm wondering where the hell my mom went, because I can't see her at this point.
Want to see my tattoos?
He said,
Huh?
I think my response was along the lines of, but I can't remember specifically. The man at the counter started to say something, but the larger man paid no attention and rolled up his sleeve to reveal several tattoos I averted my eyes from. At this point, my mother comes up and says, "Excuse me, sir, but what are you doing?" This man says,
Oh, is this your son? He was wondering about my tattoos.
my mom says something along the lines of, "We don't care, go away." And the man obliges, smiling very creepily the whole time. My mom and the cashier start talking, and he says, "If you wouldn't have shown up when you did, I would have just said, hey, get away." He was so weird.
Scram! Leave her alone. She doesn't want to talk to you. Get out of here.
We check out, and I look back, and he's staring at me longingly as we exit the store. So, creepy tattoo man who probably lives at Hobby Lobby. Let's not meet again.
What a fucking weirdo.
Hate that.
What a fucking weirdo.
Hate that. That reminds me of a Let's Not Meet story that I listened to on a podcast that only reads Let's Not Read stories.
Yeah.
And his voice is so soothing. That's all he does. Is just read them. In the most monotone, I listen to it to fall asleep.
Nice. Yeah.
It's so monotone. But there was a story on there where this girl who worked at some store, this guy kept coming in all the time and being super creepy with her all the time. And she started doing stuff to try to avoid him and would like go into the back room when he got there. But then one time he came in and he cornered her.
Oh my God.
And like pushed her into a corner and was like making derogatory comments towards her and stuff, being really, really creepy. So they, I think, banned him from the store or something. But it was really creepy the way that they described it, because he was like, I know she's back there talking about how she was in the office and they were watching him on the cameras and stuff. And he would like wait in the parking lot for her and stuff. It was, super creepy. But that's what this made me think of, obviously.
Yeah, 1000%. I can see the parallels between those two.
Why do people always go to tattoos?
Want to see my tattoos? I don't know.
Let me see your tattoos, or I want to
eat your tattoo. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I do.
That was weird.
Tattooed ink.
Yeah. Does it taste different?
Yeah, but no, it's always, hey, let me see your tattoos. How many tattoos do you have? And grabbing your arm. Or,
I feel like there could be multiple episodes on tattoo stories alone. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, because it's always creepy people. Either way, let me show you, or I want to see them.
Right.
Stop.
Don't do that.
Asking people. You can ask people to see your tattoos if you're talking about tattoos, or if it's a visible, like how mine are right now on my arms. Mm-hmm. If somebody was like, hey, that's a cool tattoo, can I see it?
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, and then you're being super normal about it? Sure.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
But if you're like, want to see my tattoos.
Do you have, or people who are like, do you have any other tattoos anywhere else?
Oh my God.
I actually downloaded this mod on Stardew Valley, and because I have multiple, I have like Stardew Valley Expanded, which adds a bunch of stuff, and then Ridgeview and Scarp, East Scarp, they're adding little towns to Stardew, so there's more people. And there was a girl from another city who I went up and talked to, and she was like, I have lots of tattoos, some that you can't see. Would you like to see them?
Oh my God.
I turned around to Quentin and I said, do you see that?
What? What is...
It's the cutest little game.
Yeah, I was like, that's not what I thought.
Nope, it's the
I'm imagining the right game.
That's exactly... I was like...
God damn.
Same mouth.
Someone's a horny little coder. Like,
I don't blame... Have you seen any of the mods for Sims?
Yeah.
Have you seen Wicked Whims?
Yeah. So
Brother, I have wicked whims. Let me tell you.
I fully believe that you do.
I do. I have a lot of mods on Sims.
Yep.
A lot
fun.
of different mods. Yeah, because it makes the game fun. I mean,
Yeah, you want to spice it up.
yeah.
What do you think I'm here to do?
Wicked
Just
whims
build
is
a house?
great way to spice it up. It's a little embarrassing to admit, but I'm outing myself. It's fine.
There's
The girlies
hundreds
will
of
get
thousands. Yeah.
Yeah, the girlies will get it. I've seen it on TikTok. I
Oh,
knew
yeah.
it before it was cool.
There's like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of likes on some of those videos where it's like, watch me have a baby with the Grim Reaper. So like,
Yes.
you know?
I used to watch this is a tangent. I used to watch Sims music videos when I was a kid all the time. I loved them. And I remember when my friend, when I was in like middle school, she had a laptop. And those were not very common, as you know.
Yep.
And she had Sims on her laptop. And
cool.
I remember being like, woohoo. Woohoo. Woohoo them.
Woohoo again.
Yeah, and that's she did. Yeah, both of us. Obviously, we were like, hey, wow, what are they doing under those
boinked.
blankets?
Yeah.
And then you hear like the doom doo doo doom doo doo, and then you're like, oh, now they're pregnant.
Cute.
Have another one.
Do you remember when there was people in parks just like, okay, there was like one time it happened on the internet, but then it happened also when we went on that picnic, I think for Valentine's Day.
When we went on our book club picnic.
Yeah, we're like, they're under the blanket woohooing, as it seems. Do you think maybe they just played too much Sims?
Yeah,
so
right.
they're
That's
like,
all they
no
think
one's gonna
about.
notice.
For context, Jasmine and I, we had a book club thing like last year.
I think last
We
year.
need to do another book club.
Yeah.
But we did a book club meetup in a park. We had a cute little picnic. And we turned around. I'll send you this clip because I think I still have it in my phone.
Okay.
If I do, we'll put it right here. But we turned around and there was this couple that were like laying all over each other and they pulled a blanket on top and we couldn't see what they were doing.
But you could see.
But you could tell it was not good.
Mm-mm.
All out in the open for free.
Yeah.
For free.
There's families.
And we had our
Dogs.
book club on a smut book, so it was kind of like awkward sitting there talking about exhibitionism.
No, I thought I brought like little weenies.
Yeah. Yeah. All of us brought like little like themed snacks to go for the book. We read Neon Gods in case
you're wondering, in case you want to join our book club of a book that we already read.
We'll start book club up again, but we can tell our listeners what book we're reading and they can read along with us.
That'll be cute.
All 56 of you.
Wow.
Amanda, do you want to join our
friends.
book?
I definitely have friends.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, let's end.
Hey. I'm totally good with that.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. Hey, send it.
I was doing that ironically, and now it is actually like a part of my personality.
Hey, fuck it. Oh, yeah. No, it's me all the time. Okay.
So how spooky were those stories?
You weren't kidding. I mean, those poor kids. Well, at least they're all grown up now, and hopefully they're okay.
You know what would be really nice for them?
If you liked, commented, subscribed, share it with your mom, share it with your cousin, share it with your coworker Chet, who has some sense of humor.
Who has the same sense of humor, yeah.
You can... Oh, yeah, the same. I read that as some...
He's like
some
a little
sense
funny.
of humor, yeah.
Not great, but a little funny.
But you can find us on Reddit, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of those at _the pod. Stream us anywhere that you stream podcasts. And YouTube. YouTube's another one. _the pod. You heard it. And if you want to share your own stories, email us at whatwasthat.thepod@gmail.com.
Thank you so much for listening. And remember, kids.
Wait, what was that?